So Zooper Doopers are like where you get like a plastic tube full of sugary liquid. You know, you chop the top off them
Oh,
and you
yeah,
just...
so it's like Otter Pops. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Otto Pops, you
Otter
say.
Pops?
Hi everyone, this is Professor Pluto and welcome to the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I am joined by Million Gamerscore Matt.
Howdy.
And Kirby. Hi, I'm definitely Kirby.
I'm also definitely Kirby who won't edit this bit out.
Here at the Real Gamerscore podcast, we like to discuss all things Xbox, achievements, and quadruple A studios. This week we talk about Super Duper Zooper Doopers, becoming a G-Task Limbo champion, and discover the answer to the riddle, when is a loot box not a loot box? But first, here's the song of the week.
On the first week of my holiday, I was looking for games to play. There were shmups and sims and driving games. There were shooters and RPGs. Going through my list and checking things off. No to this and that. Games with speed runs, or multiplayer, or ones that just plain suck. 'Cause I've been through my library and I can't find no games. I can't even remember the names. In my library, there's only 200 games and not a single one that I wanna play. Da 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 da.
That's a good one. I was just thinking, oh god, it sounds so familiar at the start, and then the first line of the chorus, and I'm like, yeah, of course. All right, so as per the new way we're going to do the song of the week, I won't be guessing it. If you have a guess for the song, you can send the answer or your guess to the Real Gamerscore account on True Achievements. That's Real Gamerscore, where the S is a 5. You can send that in a private message on trueachievements.com. Now, we can't quite remember what we said last week, and we could go back and listen to it, but it's going to work out in the listener's favour. We did 3 songs last week, and we drew a winner before the show as to who will win the code. So 2 people entered the competition, and I mean, that's about as good a chance as you have to win.
Flip a coin.
Yeah. So, I mean, 50-50, you take that for a free code or whatever we've got. But my song last week was Power by Kanye West. Matt was Closing Time by Semisonic. Kirby was Blitzkrieg Bop by Ramones, which no one guessed correctly. One person got yours and one got mine. So the winner we drew before the show is Hatton90. So Hatton, get in touch with Kirby on Discord, and he's going to send you a code for something. Don't remember exactly what it was, but get in touch with him and you can get that. So what we're going to do with this week, so episode 54 we're currently in, episode 54 and 55 will give you 2 chances to enter, and we will draw the winner on episode 56, as well as starting the next fortnightly comp. So every 2 episodes, we're going to give away a code for something on our Song of the Week competition. So like I said, get those guesses in to the Real Gamerscore account on True Achievements. I did mention the Discord, so we'll plug it right at the start here. Join us in the Discord. It's an invite can be found at discord.io/realgamerscore. Matt's in there, I'm in there, everyone's in there. Everyone that needs to be in there's in there. But you can join in too. It's a lot of fun in there. You can find someone to play. What were you guys playing this weekend? Alien vs. Predator?
Oh, yeah, that wonderful game that I'm sure I'll talk about when we get to my bit. But yeah.
Yeah, loads of fun. But you can find someone to boost, unless you've got a really obscure game, then it might be a bit trickier. But yeah, you can find that there. You can also... we can talk about the random to-do list giveaway. So we've got the new contest. So this month we've got a prize for Subdivision Infinity DX. So to enter that, you need to send a private message to the random to-do list account on True Achievements. So it's all one word, random to-do list, with answer to the trivia question of another game that has the word infinity in it. And you'll win a code for that. Or you could be entered in the draw to win a code for that. You do also need to be entered in the random to-do list giveaway, which you can get anytime. Just send a private message to Kirby on Discord or on True Achievements, or the random to-do list account on trueachievements.com. So you get your random to-do list and you unlock one achievement, and then you send the answer to the trivia question to that account. So hopefully I've explained that well. I feel like I haven't, but anyway, send me a private message if you want a better explanation. I can get you that. All right, housekeeping out of the way. We're going to get straight into the news. As you know, it's just me and Matt this week, so it might not be a super long show, or it might be. We don't know yet. But the first news, anyone that follows Rocket League like I do will find maybe some enjoyment in this news, or maybe not, I don't know. But Rocket League is removing the randomized loot crates. So I'll just read a little bit out of this article here, or the statement from Psyonix. So here at Psyonix and Epic Games as a whole, we're dedicated to creating the best possible experience for our players all over the world. In pursuit of that goal, later this year, we will remove all paid randomized crates from Rocket League, replacing them with a system that shows the exact items you're buying in advance. So it's similar to changes implemented earlier this year by the Fortnite team. So I don't know, what kind of opinions do you have on this? Matt, do you have any? You're not a big Rocket League player.
I mean, I'm not a big Rocket League player for sure. I mean, I have played, I got all the achievements, and that's enough for me. But
that's good. That's good.
Another completion. It's a good thing. Like, I think it's a good thing across the board that this is the kind of thing that more companies need to be doing. So I'm not questioning the fact that they're doing it. It's a little bit about why. It's one of those things where you're looking at it and you're going, okay, there's been a lot of bad press about loot boxes and surprise mechanics for the last few months, right?
Yep.
And it's getting to the point where they're bringing in rules around putting odds of having to put odds on loot boxes and that sort of stuff. The major publishers, which I'm sure we'll get into, but so part of me is like, oh, this is a good thing. I'm glad that they've done it, and it's a good thing for the consumer because consumers can actually get what they pay for or actually see what's in the box. So I just want to make sure I understand. So they present you with a box, but they tell you what's in it, and you can just decide if you want to buy the box. Is that?
Yeah. So under the new rules, I don't know if you'll get a box or whatever, but you will get an item, and essentially it will tell you what is contained in the item, and you can buy it or not.
Right, okay.
Whereas currently you get you get a crate, and I think there's 12 or 15 items, I can't remember exactly because I don't buy them, but it shows you what's possible to obtain. Some have different rarity, but it's like all the good items have a 1% drop.
Right, of course.
And I mean, I haven't bought that many crates. I have earned keys to open them and decryptors to open them in the first Rocket Pass, but I don't open very many. I've probably opened less than 30, I would guess. And I've once rolled a black market item, which is a 1% drop. So I guess in that sense, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Like in terms of what this means, like as a regular player for Rocket League, I think that it's a good move. I think that it is, because the thing that always stopped me from buying keys to open the crates is the fact that the items I want are a 1% chance. And, you roll and roll and roll and roll, you just don't get them. Which I guess is a bit rich for me if I've had a 1 in 100 drop in a 1 in 30. But anyway.
Even so.
Yeah, it always annoys me. There's one item that I want in the game. It's the Dueling Dragons Black Market Explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And I used all the keys and decryptors, all of them that I got to open the one crate that it appeared in. And, I didn't get that item. I rolled it in a different crate when I didn't have any of that particular crate anymore. But anyway, I'm not salty about it. But I think that it's a good a good idea. I'm just interested to see how they implement it, because I don't know what the skins cost in Fortnite, but I've heard them mentioned as $20.
That's a little steep.
Yeah, and that's like for your character to wear a skin, $20. Even if that's $10, I mean, $10 is a lot more palatable. But I remember hearing it was Australian AUD 20. I just think that's steep, you know.
Yeah, you're pushing up on the definition of a microtransaction there, right? Because I mean, you're starting to get into that's proper DLC purchase territory there. I'm wondering.
I'm just going to have a quick look and see if I can find out.
I guess
very
maybe
easily, but go on.
The slight difference might be is that Fortnite is 100% of a free-to-play game, right? Whereas Rocket League still does have that initial. I mean, it's a lower price game, but it's still you still have to pay to play the game in the first place. I feel like it's a good step. I mean, I've always been of the opinion that they should just list out every single item and they just charge you in-game or whatever premium currency if they really want to do that for anything where you want it. Because I just want to make, because if they're showing off a box or saying, hey, this is the item that you got for winning this match, do you want to pay for it or not? Or is it going to be just like you just pick out of a list of the things that you want, like you do in something like Overwatch?
Yep. So many of the game's skins can cost between $12 and $15 worth of V-Bucks. So you can buy 500 V-Bucks for $5. I presume that's, it is American dollars. It's an American website. So if that's $12 US, that's probably close to 20 Australian dollars. But yeah, like you said, that is a free-to-play game, so maybe they are priced high for that reason. But I think the other thing is that Fortnite skins, like, your whole player wears that skin, whereas in Rocket League, like, you have a decal, you have a paint, you have a topper, you have wheels, boost, goal explosion, engine noise, titles. You have so many different pieces. So I wonder if they're going to cost, $2, $3, $4, but then you have to buy 10 different things. And it costs you like that. I'll wait and see to decide whether it's a good idea from what they implement.
I mean,
This is always that temptation to go too high.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if they're making money hand over fist, it's about how inelastic the demand is, right? If they can make more money by annoying a few people but make overall more money, they might still do it.
I think they definitely still do it, hey?
Yeah, I mean, if with the amount of cash on the table there, they'd be stupid not to, unfortunately. I mean, I'm no stranger. I'm no stranger to loot boxes. I mean, I play Neverwinter. That game is rotten with microtransactions and loot boxes. I mean, I log on to that game every single day to get a key to unlock a loot box. I get the key for free. I mean, I paid for the VIP stuff for a year, so I've been just getting keys and keys and keys. I don't do anything with them yet, but with the previous mod, before it was ending, to make sure I had all the right stuff so I could get all the content done before they rebalanced everything. I just opened like 100 loot boxes to just try and get as much good stuff as possible. And I think I got maybe 2 things that I wanted out of that.
Yeah, it seems that way. And I think that I'm hoping that at some point you'll see paid loot boxes go completely. Because I know people will argue the finer points of it not being gambling, but the fact is you're spending money to get a chance to win something. As far as I'm concerned, that's gambling. What I think people have kind of blown it up a little bit this week, and they're saying, the trading economy won't exist anymore, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. If anything, the trading economy will be better, because it's like, I paid $6 for this item.
Yeah, exactly.
It's worth around $6. Trade me something that's worth nearly $6 or a little bit more than $6, and we'll make a trade. I think people have kind of blown it up, which anything that Epic touches at the moment is prone to do, unfortunately. But
yeah,
I think it's overall a positive thing. But you did touch on the second news article we've got, which is about publishing video game loot box odds. So there's been a big group called the Entertainment Software Association, which includes a lot of different publishers in there. So it says here, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo are all committing to new policies. Then several publishers who are members of the ESA, such as Activision, Blizzard, Bandai, Namco, Bethesda, Bungie, EA, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. Take-Two, Ubisoft, Warner Bros., Interactive Entertainment, Wizards of the Coast. And then it says several other ESA members are considering the move too. So basically what they're doing is they're discussing, I don't know how far through it is, but they're discussing voluntarily publishing the rarity or the odds that you'll get an item from a paid loot box. Why don't you go first, Matt? What do you think about this?
Yeah, so just so people are aware, the ESA are basically the who's who of video game publishing. They run E3, so
don't give them any details.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't put your credit card there. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you got your PO boxes ready. But essentially, if anything was going to happen with video games outside of regulation, the ESA would probably be the ones to do it. And this is something that's been going around. People saying that getting the government involved with sort of the loot boxes and the gambling and that sort of stuff, and classifying them that and having them classified as gambling like regular gambling is, would potentially be very damaging for the industry because government regulation tends to be a little bit behind on understanding nuance between the difference between, especially in video games and in the tech industry. So people were talking about that it would be a bad thing if something like this happened, but realistically, the ESA has done nothing to police this for the last 5 or 6 years. So this is only really happening because the government has been stepping in and saying they're taking more of an interest in it, and basically telling the ESA that if they don't police this stuff properly or put reasonable protections in place for people, the government will come in and do it for them.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about the publishing? Well, let me ask you 2 questions. Do you think that publishing loot box odds will deter anyone from buying them?
No, I don't. I guess it depends who you mean by anyone. If we're looking at the whales or the dolphins or the super whales, the people who that 1 to 2% of people who are in the video game sphere, especially free to play games, who spends like thousands of dollars to keep these companies afloat. That's more akin to an addiction. Like publishing the odds is it's the same as putting like cancer warnings on cigarettes, right? It'll deter some people because some people will look at that and say, actually, you know what? I was on the fence and now I'm definitely on one side or the other. Whereas like the people who are already addicted or people who are really invested in it, that's not going to change their behavior. And I don't think there's much that will change their behavior, but I think any step in educating people around what they're actually doing before they get into something like that is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot my second question was too, by the way, but I think that publishing the odds, I think that it kind of smells to me of ESA's way of looking like they're doing something but not really doing anything.
Yeah.
So I don't think, like, if let's take Rocket League for example, if the black market decal was a 5% chance instead of a 1% chance, I probably still wouldn't buy it. And if I knew that up front, actually, let me take it a step further. Before they published the odds, I figured that it was probably a less than 5% chance that you get a black market in a crate. So I'm like, well, I don't want to buy them. And then they published and it was 1%. And I'm like, well, that's pretty much what I thought, so I'm not going to buy them,
Yeah.
It's like getting a foot pack on FIFA. What's the chance you're going to get a Cristiano Ronaldo?
Pretty bad, especially if you're a kid who's spending all his parents' money, apparently.
Yeah. But I reckon 1% would be a generous drop rate for like a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Leo Messi or something.
That was going to be my next point, is around when they're saying publishing odds, how exact are they going to be with those numbers?
You know what? That was my second question.
Yeah.
How do you know if it's for real?
Well, I mean, that's one thing, right? You have someone will do the math if we know anything about the internet. But there's a big difference. So in China, the current law is that they have to publish odds for their stuff already. And so you get stuff that's 10%, stuff that's 20%, stuff that's 50%, and then you have 1% or less than 1%. And you're like, okay, the difference between, say, 0.9% and 0.1% is huge, or 0.001, right? Like that, those are all less than 1%, but they're all vastly different odds. I mean, I can only imagine what the Neverwinter odds are on something like this. For example, there's a chance to get a legendary mount out of the loot boxes. I've pulled 2 legendary mounts in maybe 300 loot boxes that I've opened over the past few years. They sell for a lot because they're very, very rare. But I can only imagine that the percentage chance of that happening has got to be less, maybe like 0.5%, if that. But I mean, chances are you'll get less than 1%, and you just won't have a clue at how realistic that actually is.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, that brings 2 things to my mind. 1 about Gears of War, and 2 about how do you test it. It's like, the thing is, you can't, I won't say can't, because there are a lot smarter math people out there than I am, but I don't see how you can test it. You can't just go, oh, I'm going to buy 100 boxes and open them, and it's like, oh, you know, a 50% drop rate. Oh, I got 50 of that particular rarity. Oh, a 30% drop rate. I got 30. That's not the way random works. You know, you're not going to have a 1% drop rate and get 1 every 100 crates.
Sure, maybe not every 100, but 1,000 crates. You start getting into, But you're right. It'll never be exact, but at least it'll give you a range. If something is 1% and you buy 1,000 crates, I mean, you was expect it to be in there at least a couple times, right?
Yep. But like I said, I don't know how they would check it. And the second thing was, so obviously about Gears of War. I mean, we've talked about my frustrations with the resupply card. And, conveniently, when I bought with real money 3 loot boxes, it showed up. Now, admittedly, there were 10 cards in those loot boxes instead of 5. But still, that's only twice as much.
Yeah.
That's 6 real-time loot boxes. And they apparently had a similar chance to drop a purple card. Purple card? Yeah, purple are the rarest cards on the skills. So, I mean, the only reason I bought those is because, 1, I didn't see any other option. And I needed them for that session. Well, I mean, I could have just cancelled the session, but I really wanted to do those achievements. And 2, I'd talked to a few people in the weeks before that about how they got their resupply card. But 2 or 3 people who had them. And I said, well, how'd you get it? And they're like, well, I bought a loot box. That's the only way I got it. And I opened hundreds of them. I can't remember how many I said, but 500 boxes maybe? I don't remember. Just couldn't get it.
Yeah, because that's the other bit, right? Is do the odds change depending on whether you're using real money or not real money, right? And I'm assuming they would have to display that as well. So that would actually be some very interesting information. But I agree with you. It does feel like that the ESA is just trying to cover themselves by looking like they're doing something when really actually being relatively ineffectual.
100%. All right. So another interesting, well, I guess kind of Microsoft-centric news. No, it definitely is. Microsoft's quadruple A studio. I don't know why they've titled it that, but the Initiative is the studio we're talking about. They've hired lead developers from Anthem and Apex Legends. Lead developers from Anthem? I don't know how good that sounds.
Did they hire them before they finished the game or after they released it?
Well, some would argue it's still not finished, Matt.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah. But, and, lead developers from Apex Legends as well. So that kind of makes me happy but sad at the same time. That means they poached someone off of Respawn, which, I like Respawn a lot, but after they said Titanfall 3 has been delayed because of Apex Legends, they're pretty much dead to me until the Titanfall 3 comes out. I'm not interested in the Star Wars game for those people listening at home that are going, what about Jedi Fallen Order? Thanks, but no thank you. It's not for me. It's just not going to be.
Don't worry, guys. I'll play it. Don't worry about it.
Yep, you play it, you can talk about it. That's cool. It's not a game for me. But yeah, this guy, so Ryan Duffin, has been a gameplay animation director. He was working at BioWare. And then you've got Sean Slayback, which, by the way, what a sick last name. Slayback.
That's a pretty awesome name.
So he's joined as a lead systems designer after working on Apex Legends and both Titanfall games. So I think that's... I don't know. We don't really know much about what the initiative are working on yet, do we? It seems like they're kind of skilling up a studio at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the talk is that it might be a new IP. I mean, that would make sense, right? If they're getting all these people from these studios, I mean, as much as I'd love for them to bring back something that we haven't seen for ages, it probably has to be something new or something. It looks like something big. I mean, you don't quadruple A something if you're not going big or going home, right?
Yeah, they're banking on it. I was just having a bit of a further read here of Ryan Duffin. He worked on Alan Wake as a senior animator when he was at Remedy Entertainment. Don't get too excited. It's probably not Alan Wake.
Oh, if only, right?
But if it is... anyway, I think that's good. I think it's good to kind of point out these things because, like we've been talking about in the past, Microsoft getting all this new studio, new people under their brand. You know, I keep saying it, but I reckon Microsoft is going to smash Sony next generation. Maybe I don't hear enough news about the good things that Sony are doing to make me think otherwise. And it's like, yeah, they've got God of War, yeah, they've got the Spider-Man game, Last of Us 2 is coming out, but it's like, what did Microsoft say? They plan to have a really good AAA game coming out. Was it every 3 months?
Every 3 months is what they're planning, yeah.
Could you imagine if they dropped a Spider-Man or God of War level game? And I'm aware that this is an absolute pipe dream, but could you imagine if they did something like that? It would more than make up for the Don Matrick fiasco.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I think it's definitely a step in the right direction, right?
Yeah. Anyway, that's some good news. Some good news. Studio getting some more blood there. And the last one here, so interesting one that kind of did fall off my radar for quite some time, but avid Minecraft fans would have been on their radar. But you might remember at E3 in 2017, Microsoft announced that it was working on a big graphical overhaul for Minecraft called the Super Dooper Graphics Pack. You remember that, Matt?
Yeah, I remember them showing it off, and I was thinking, wow, that actually looks like incredible, and I'll never play this. But hey, that's great.
Yeah, I thought exactly the same thing. It seems, I remember seeing some snippets of it after E3 as well. I think actually it might have even been this year, or I could be getting it confused with someone talking about ray tracing, which apparently is the next massive thing in games, but someone had implemented ray tracing in a Minecraft sample, and it looked like what I thought was Super Duper Graphics Pack.
Yeah, there was a lot of sort of similarities there. I think I remember I think you are talking about the ray tracing thing. I think they came out earlier this year. That looked absolutely incredible, but it did harken back to that sort of Super Duper graphics. I can't believe we just keep saying Super Duper graphics over and over again.
Super Duper.
But yeah, it's interesting, and it looked fantastic when they showed it off at E3 for sure.
So the reason we're talking about the Super Duper graphics, I just wanted to say Super Duper a bit more. The reason we're talking about this is because Microsoft announced today that the Super Duper graphics has been cancelled. The Super Duper graphics pack, no more. From what they've said, the Super Duper was. It sounds like. Do you have Super Dupers in New Zealand?
I don't. Do we have? I don't think we have Super Dupers.
They're those. Okay.
Well, now I have to. Now I'm googling this.
Now I have to.
Yeah.
So Super Dupers are like where you get like a plastic tube full of sugary liquid.
Mm-hmm.
They are on the shelf in the supermarket. You chuck them in the freezer, and they're like, you chop the top off.
Oh yeah, so it's like Otto Pops. Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Otto Pops.
Otto Pops. Otto Pops. They have in the States. They're Otto Pops.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've never heard of them. Anyway, they're probably like, "What's a Super Duper?" Anyway, So Super Dooper was an ambitious initiative that brought a new look to Minecraft, but unfortunately the pack proved too technically demanding to implement as planned. We're really disappointed, blah, 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 all this. So I had to look into some further comments. Apparently the issue lies in getting Super Dooper to work across all of the different platforms that it's on. So I don't think there's any doubt that the Xbox and PlayStation could run it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even the Switch, I don't know. But things like the Windows Phone, Android, iOS,
Apple TV,
Gear VR, those things, I reckon that could be where the problem lies. Given that
I really think that the Samsung Smart Fridge was really the one that just really held them up.
The what? The Smart Fridge?
Yeah, the Samsung Smart Fridge, right? Yeah, there's no way they can compete with the most powerful console on the planet, right?
Samsung, play Minecraft Super Duper. No, I don't want a Super Duper. Play Super Duper.
I know, my ice cream's melting.
Did you say order Super Dupers? 5 Super Duper packets order. Okay, anyway. So I guess it's a little bit disappointing that that's happening. I had a quick look at the comments on this one. Most people saying, sad, sad, sad. One comment that I did read, I can't even find it at this point, but they were saying it'll come to the next generation, so on the Scarlet, and it will be a good reason for you to buy another edition of Minecraft because we don't have enough versions purchased. I think if that was the case, that's really smart in terms of business. You update the graphics and people buy exactly the same game. Like
this whole gen, basically.
Yeah. So it's like, don't do as much work, make $500 million. I don't know how many people would buy it anyway. All right, well, stay tuned on that. If there's more Super Dupers coming, we will cover it. All right, we've got the Great True Achievement Score roundup. So I'm going to, start off by talking about the solos. So the solo cutoff was 331 True Achievement difference. The solo low was me, and I was safe by 1 point.
Oh, mate. That's real. That's
I've survived another week.
Real close one.
I'm getting more tags in Discord than ever, and it's usually on a Monday night. People are like, hey, Professor, you realise you're real close to the line? And I'm like, yeah. Just let it ride. I think, what is this, week 7 or week 8 now? I only need 3 more weeks and then I can just go out. But yeah, I thought I was gone, and then I didn't. Just for clarity, on Monday nights I play indoor cricket, so I don't come home and game. That's it. Once Sunday night finishes, that's it for me in terms of the true achievement difference that I score, unless I don't play any indoor cricket on Monday night. So to stay in by 1 point, I better make sure that I get at least 500 true achievement difference this week so I can stay in. So the solo high, Jimbot UK, 5th spot, 7,965 true achievement difference. Jim, you want to log on to my account for a little bit, mate? Thanks. There were 2 solo knockouts, Daryl Maple and Maddie L22L. The team cutoff was 1,643. The team low is just missing Tatey. So that's Buck Marley 155, McLovin Legend 1, Keith 271179. They were 217 points above the drop. The team high is this team Leapfrog, Daniel JJ14, Jimbot, UK, and Infamous. 3rd spot, 18,642, and no team knockouts that we could see. All right, so that's the Great True Achievement Score roundup. We're going to go into the review. So this week we've got Warren and Kirby. They are reviewing Truck Racing Championship.
Hello, everybody. We're back for another review. My name is Poolanting42, and with me, as always, is Mr. Chin Doctor.
How's it going, everyone?
This week, we are checking out FIA European Truck Racing Championship, which is a mouthful, and the game is actually not that bad.
Well, luckily in North America, it's just going to be Truck Racing Championship. You don't have to deal with any of the sponsorship.
Ah, cool. My Xbox actually only calls it Truck Racing Championship. That's where it sorts it, but
yeah.
TA's got a little more honorific to it. Published by Big Ben Interactive, developed by N Racing. This game came out apparently for part of the world on July 18th, 2019. It is not available in North America at this point. Although you were just saying... It's time to wake up.
I was just saying my alarm.
Oh dear.
All right, I can cut that.
Okay.
Go from you were just saying.
Okay. So you were saying this is available now in North America shortly?
Or yeah, I think the 20th of August is what the PlayStation date is, or what Sony has set. So I assume it'll be at least a close to simultaneous release on Xbox as well.
Here's hoping. Because, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this deserves peeking at. Maybe we'll talk about that. But anyways, it's a simulation racing game. You're driving semi trucks, as you might have implied. Now, there's no time estimate on TA yet. It has very few completions. I'm gonna say maybe like 15, 20 hours tops.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You probably need to do 2 rounds of each campaign, the European side and the World Series side, just to do the reputation. And that's probably what's going to take the longest.
Okay, that's not so bad. Especially when, like as you say, you can. There's lots of tweaks to these races you can do. You can really add on the assists and crank them down to short lengths to make them much more doable. But yeah, taking at the plot of this, it's a truck racing game. You make trucks go fast for money.
I mean, you don't make any money in your first year, but you make some in your second.
True. That's true. I was wondering why I'm like not making any cash yet. Like, but I'm completing sponsorship goals. I'm flying around. Whatever.
Yeah. The only use for money is to upgrade your truck, and you only actually have a truck once you've signed a season length contract. But in your first season of your career, you're signing race weekend contracts, so you're just getting the truck for the weekend. So you don't need to repair it either. You don't need to spend your money there because they're just letting you borrow it for the weekend. Whereas in your second season, you're signing for a full season. So they're now going, this is your truck. You need to look after it. And this is what we expect of you.
Gotcha. That which makes sense. As you progress in your career, it would be expected that you go from just doing good for one race and end up being a real driver for the team. I can get that. The achievements in the game in European Truck Racing Championship, they're spread out across the 2 career modes, which is yet again European Truck Racing Championship and the World Series. And then beyond that, there's a couple other smattering of ones for winning a race at each location, which ironically you can unlock in any game mode. So if for some reason you don't want to try to bean dive the game by completing the training, the license mode, which is by far, if you ask me, the hardest achievement, you can just win a race anywheres and you're good to go. There's also an achievement for driving 500 kilometers, and then an apparently buggy one for earning 10,000 credits, although I'm not sure why. There's no guide.
So the issue with that one is in your second season, when you actually start earning that money, so you get 2,000 coins for coming in first place, none of that 2,000 will count. It'll only count second place or worse earnings for some reason.
Weird.
So your 1,600 for coming in second is what will count towards this 10,000 that you need. I don't think it's intentional. I don't know that it's going to get fixed because this is a Big Ben game, but at least it's not completely broken.
Interesting. So I guess if for some reason you're playing on easy with all the assists, which you probably will be and you should be, sit at the finish line, wait for the guy behind you to finally catch up, and then give it a little gas, I guess.
Yeah, and cross over. Yep. Yeah, I think it's nicer to not just stay in second the whole time. Just get to the end and then wait, because sometimes you're like, wow, you're taking this corner really slow. Oh, God, you're just Come on, you can give it some gap. Okay, you've spun out. I've got to wait for someone else to come and overtake you.
True. And the funny part is if they spin out, they seem to just stay spun out and they don't even bother to recover. So that works to your advantage. Yeah.
Now, spinning out is a big problem for you as well, because if you turn too much while you're either braking or giving it gas, you will spin out. You just spin completely out, and recovering is not super quick. There's no cool quick J turn you can do in a truck.
Exactly. The only thing that really works to your advantage, I suppose, is just again, when you've got this cranked down to easy with all the assists on, everything's kind of in your favor. It's not hard to get back up and into the pack again.
Yeah, definitely not. There are also achievements for winning a race without taking any damage, which if you're playing on the easiest setting, you've turned off damage, so you can't get damage. So you just win a race, you'll get that. Another one from starting in last place, which is also, again, quite easy, just in the qualifying race to earn your spot on where you start. If you just quit that before you start going, you'd be automatically given 12th place and just then need to drive. So it's a pretty cruisy list of achievements, but they will take a bit. And if you don't get a handle of the truck itself on how to drive it, it may be a struggle.
True. I guess, two other little points. They've got the qualifying, get a quickest lap in qualifying to claim the pole position. That actually is either in the normal qualifying or the super pole, which there's also an achievement to reach, which after you qualify, they have you yet again qualify to organize the top 10 people. So you actually get 2 shots at pole sitter in each race.
Oh, yeah. And it was much easier for me in the super pole than in the qualifying.
Yep, that's where I got it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I still think it's a good game overall. I think it's... I don't know that it's worth $40. I think they're being a bit of a joker by setting it at that price. For maybe 25 or less, I'd probably say this is worth it.
Yeah, agreed. You're not going to find a better semi-truck racing game out there, I suppose. So from that perspective, it's worth the $40. However, from a racing perspective, visually, it's not bad. It is 4K enhanced, worth mentioning. And Big Ben does do a lot of racing games. So even though they're not the developer of this one, but in any case, they have a big handle on racing games. So it doesn't surprise me that it looks nice. It's not like a Forza level of polish, but then again, it's not a Microsoft studio that's doing this, so I don't expect that. So for what this is, it looks really good. So is it 40? Well, is it worth the €40 or $40? I guess is going to be ish when it comes out in America. Yeah, probably not, but I would definitely pick it up when it goes on sale.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that was Truck Racing Championship with or without the FIA European part. I guess until next time, guys, back to the main show.
All right, well, thanks for that review, guys. We'll go into what we've been playing this week. So, Matt, why don't you tell everyone what you've been playing?
Sure. So, not the most exciting week for me. So, I went back and finished up the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. Thank you to friend of the show, Chin Doctor. Might have heard of him. He was helped me out with the multiplayer. It was actually quite a bit of fun with this. It's just a collection of old beat 'em ups, but to be honest, the only real beat 'em ups that I knew from Capcom were like Final Fight. So there was like 6 others in there that I was like, oh, this is really cool. Why did I never play this? And then I remembered that I had unlimited continues, and this would have just taken all of my money away if I'd played it in an arcade back in the day. It's just unbelievably unfair, some of those bosses. They're just like, oh, here's your one-hit kill, put in $1.
Yep. What did you think of the achievement difficulty? Was it hard?
No,
was it easy?
It's
what do you
really easy. I mean, all of it is, all the achievements are get through all of the games. You can use as many continues as you want. And then the only other ones are playing each game, using a continue, and then playing every game on multiplayer, which just means that I just got Chin to jump into a party and we just started up and punched one enemy in each match. and then got the achievement. So it was nice and simple. But I mean, grab it when it's on sale. It's definitely not worth what they're charging for it. I think they're charging like $30, which is a little steep.
30 Australian dollars, yep.
Yes.
So it's probably less US dollars.
Yeah,
23 maybe, or so?
25
20, 23?
Somewhere around there, yeah. So I would wait for, I think I picked it up at 40% off, and I think it was still a little bit too expensive, but I needed the easy points. So I would say wait for it maybe 75% off, or maybe it might end up in Game Pass or something along those lines.
I've just had a quick look at the achievements as you talk about it. There's an achievement called I'm Not Done Yet. Use and continue for the first time. What percentage of gamers do you think have unlocked that?
I'm assuming it'd be like 80%. Be pretty high.
Use and continue in any
actually, any continue? No, you're probably getting close to 100, actually, almost.
96.
Yeah.
So 4% of people got a different achievement. What did they get?
They might have just got play all games or whatever, started it, turned it off. Because, a lot of those games are just really unfair. I mean, they're good fun, and it's especially good in like local co-op, because a lot of them are 2 or 3 player games, so you can hook up a bunch of people, choose different characters. One of them is like there's one where you like, it's a sort of side-scrolling RPG, so you level up and that sort of stuff, which is kind of fun, but all sort of basic things.
Cool.
Also working on Hawken, which I talked a little bit about last week, with Chin helping me boost that as well. Good ratio, easy achievements. I've just got 3 achievements left that I just need to get, like maybe 1 match will do them. So I was saving it for this week's G-Task. I'm just really hoping they just don't do a surprise title update in 5 years and screw all of us over. Now that I've said that.
Yeah, you put it out there, mate.
And sort of following on from what you guys were talking about last week, I played through Boss 101 and 1111 Memories Retold.
So Boss 101, did you get a free code for it as well?
No, I didn't. I bought it was on sale. I might be the only person who ever bought that game.
So they at least made, what, $20? Is that how much?
Oh, I got it on sale, so they probably got $5 out of me.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
It's really good. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I'm really not a shmup guy. Like I'm really bad at pinpoint accuracy, but that game's like really simple. Being able to make your own boss and just making them weak to whatever you have, and then just leveling up, just basically just overpowering them with whatever equipment you want. And then they just throw tons and tons of cash at you to upgrade everything by the end of it. I had a really, really good time playing through it.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. I was surprised.
Yeah, it has like for something where you just fight 31 bosses in a row, basically. It actually had a lot of like charm, and the humor grated on me a little bit. It was a little bit like juvenile, but like I kind of enjoyed it. It was very cutesy, and I like the art style. And there's a part.
Have you pressed the button?
Yeah, so I pressed
the do not press button.
I pressed the button 7 times to get the hat.
I was actually doing some ironing on Sunday. That was one of the achievements that stopped me from getting kicked out of G-Task. Like, I can press a button while I iron 3 t-shirts.
Perfect.
And actually, I was reading it as I was doing the ironing, and I reckon that was really well done. They're like betting on whether they're going to press it again and stuff. That was very funny, I thought.
Yeah, no, it's very sort of self-referential and very funny. And it's like some of the costumes, the amount of time and effort that's gone into like all the references, and they have like YouTubers and like anime characters and everything, like any kind of reference you could think of. They probably have a hat or a costume for them.
So how far did you get into the game?
So I completely finished it. So I got all the achievements.
Oh, right. Okay. Wow. All right. Cool. So that's a really good effort.
Yeah, it was. I didn't have too much trouble with it. So it took me about, I think it was 6 hours and 40 minutes to finish it. So a bit more than Chen, because he said he did it in 4, which I don't know how he did that. He must have been skipping. He must have been spasmoding it and just skipping all the cutscenes and just smashing through it.
He always says that, though.
Yeah.
He always says that. But yeah, he probably doesn't watch any cutscenes.
The thing,
those cutscenes, you're saying the humor kind of wore on you a little bit.
Yeah.
I think those cutscenes in between bosses kind of went on a little bit.
Little
That's
bit.
where it kind of wore on me a little bit.
Especially because you're just fighting, like, the bosses themselves aren't that different, so it's just kind of, okay, fight a relatively simple boss, and then a relatively humorous cutscene, and then you just kind of repeat. Like, it didn't really break it up quite enough for me. I mean, the actual, like, the bosses at, like, 10, 20, 30, and 31 were actually really interesting and fun. Actually quite difficult. Especially the last boss, he has a laser beam that essentially, the normal laser beams, you hear the noise and they charge up and they just blast you. This one, it just turns on at random intervals, so you just get wiped if you're not careful.
Is it like when you're playing Street Fighter and Ryu or Ken do their finisher?
Basically, yeah, it just takes half the screen, and you're like, okay, so I started counting down, and it's just having an internal timer in my head, thinking, okay, now he's going to do it, okay, and because there's basically there's no wind up.
Actually, going back to the humour, I found him talking about how he got into that position really funny.
Yeah,
it's like, I was a first boss in a different game, and the other guy's like, first bosses are always the ones that get their ass kicked, and he's like, yeah, actually not in a different game, in a different war.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but then the war didn't happen, and now I'm reassigned here, and it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah,
like,
there's a whole. I mean, I'm really looking forward to Boss 102 whenever they bring that out.
Well, they reference that in the game, don't they?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, great. So we're getting into the meta humor very early on.
We've got to wait till Boss 102 for that feature. Yeah, he says something exactly like that.
I thought it was really good. So it took me just under 7 hours. But the thing I had the most trouble with were the mini games, actually, to be honest, on the arcade cabinet, because there's 3 achievements.
Ah, okay.
There's 3 achievements, and they're basically just sort of slightly tweaked versions of old arcade games. So one of them is Arkanoid, block breaker, where you have the paddle at the bottom and you got to bounce the ball in.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to get 10,000 points in that. That's not too hard because they give you a lot of multi balls and that sort of stuff. So it took me a few tries. There's one that's essentially, I think it's Wizard, where you just have to go around on a 2D plane and just zap wizards or zap enemies as they show up, but some of them turn invisible, so you need to remember where they are or try and figure out what their pattern is. That one wasn't too bad either, but the one that really got me was the tank one, where you have to sort of drive around a tank and just shoot. There's 4 tanks, and they spawn out in random points, and you basically have to just target them, but every bullet that you shoot loses you 5 points, so you just can't just spam it. You have to, and every tank gets 100. So every time you shoot at one, you lose 5 points, and it reduces how many points each tank is worth, basically. And so they spawn 1 at a time to start with, then 2 at a time, then 3 at a time, then 4 at a time. So you basically need to kill about 17 to 20 tanks to get the achievement. And I kept getting to about 15 and just getting overwhelmed. So that's actually what took me the longest. I probably spent a good hour of that. That's 7 hours actually working on those mini games.
Well, that one's got the highest ratio out of the 3 mini game achievements, which I guess is not surprising based on what you're saying. It makes me nervous for the Zasmo arcade pack, which I also got a free code for, because I know that there's a tank game in that.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
And I think I've deleted it off my hard drive because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to play this, but yeah, anyway, that makes me even more nervous. So, all right, so Boss 101, good.
Yeah.
Good recommendation from you by the sounds of it.
Yeah, no, really enjoyed it. And if you, for some reason, don't already have a code for it, you should definitely pick it up. And so the other thing that I just finished before the podcast was 1111 Memories Retold, which was spoken about last week. I think it's pretty. I think it's kind of average, a pretty average game. I really like what they were trying to do. It was an interesting story, and okay, I get it. Horrors of war, heroes on both sides. You have an engineer on one side and a photographer on the other. They're not direct combatants in it, so they're kind of just sort of thrown into the world that they live in. One's going for glory because he wants to impress his girl, and the other one wants to go and try and find his son who went to fight in the war. And it's good, but it kind of feels like it's, and if you pardon the pun, it's been done to death. Like it's. And making it look like a Monet painting with the weird art style, I don't really think adds much to it. And mechanically, the game is basically just almost a walking simulator collectathon with some very, very minor puzzle mechanics.
Yeah, I know Chin last week said he didn't like the graphics in the game, so well, there you go. That's 2 crosses next to the graphics by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting idea, and I kind of get what they're going for with it, but I don't think it works super well if it was like an animated show or like a movie or like an animated short or something, I think it would work quite well. Especially because they've got Elijah Wood doing the voice of the Canadian guy in it. And it
really?
Yeah. I didn't pick it up straight away, but you could kind of tell. And So, I mean, to be fair, Elijah Wood's been doing a lot of video game stuff recently, between Broken Age and Transference, I think, and a few other bits and pieces.
Transference, yeah. I don't know if he starred in that or if he was commissioned the project.
He was involved, so like I think he was a producer on it or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like the game's easy enough. I managed to finish it tonight. It probably took me about 8 hours maybe to do. There's a bunch of endings, but you can kind of just reload the last couple of checkpoints to do them. But there are a lot of collectibles, so there's a walkthrough on TA that you definitely need to follow. I wouldn't have started it if the walkthrough didn't exist, because there's just way too many things to keep track of otherwise.
How many? Like, are we talking 100, 200?
You're getting probably close to probably 100 collectibles maybe. And they're essentially all little pieces of paper that spin around on the ground. And if you don't know they're there or you don't know where to look for them, you'd basically never find them. Like, you probably find some of them, but not all of them.
That reminds me of those damn coffee thermoses in Alan Wake.
Same sort of thing, yeah.
I collected all of them, and they just do nothing.
No.
Anyway. All right, well, so I'm going to come back to that when I talk about the games that I've played, because I've played something that I reckon maybe this would work in. But what's that, 2,950 Gamerscore?
Yep, so just under 3,000 for the week.
All right, nice work. Well, in terms of what I've been playing, the one that I'm going to relate it to there is, so I played The Invisible Hours, and while you were talking about it, I had a quick look. You've played it
as
well.
Yes, I have.
So before I ask what I want to ask you about it, The Invisible Hours, I'll tell everyone what it is, because it's not many people have started it. So 852. It's an easy game as well. It just takes a while. So what's got a 52% completion rate for people that start it. So The Invisible Hours, it's not a game. And it tells you that at the start of the game. I got it on sale for about $4, I think, when EB Games were having one of their constant sales. But it's not a game. It's more like a movie that you experience. Actually, I think it says that in the start of the game. So the premise is that Nikola Tesla has died. You're a detective and you've been invited to his house for a mysterious reason. And basically, the way the game works is you're an invisible entity. You are just watching the story unfold around you. You can move about the island. You can stick with the main events. You know, when the detective is looking at the body of Nikola Tesla and looking at it, or you can walk around the rest of the house. Maybe there's people that aren't in the main scene, and you can find things out about them. So it's a very interesting premise for a game. For me, it works. And where I was going to tie this back to Memories Retold is, do you think that the story in Memories Retold might have worked a little bit better if it had been presented in this manner?
Yeah, I think actually, I mean, obviously maybe not whole cloth, but I think taking that more sort of narrative approach, because I feel like the way that Memories Untold or Retold worked was they kind of felt like they had to have gameplay in there, so they have to have some minor stealth sections, they have to do some minor puzzles, and you just kind of feel like this is just getting in the way of the story that you're trying to tell, really. And I think that, doing something more like the Invisible Hours I actually really enjoyed as well. Like going through and watching it, and that's sort of like there's another game that's very similar to it called the Sexy Brutale.
Oh, who is it? Someone loves that game. Is it Chin that really loves that game?
I'm a huge fan of that game. Chin, was it Chin or was it Warren? I can't remember who it was, but it's another.
Actually, maybe it was Warren. Yeah, good point.
That's if you enjoy the Invisible Hours, Sexy Brutale is definitely one to check out, because it's a very similar sort of concept around resetting the story and maybe following a different character each time, or trying to just piece together what's happening from watching the same scenes over and over from different points of view.
Yeah, and I think that's why I quite like it. When I started the game and I was popping achievements, I was like, oh yeah, I don't know about this. But I think that the story, so for clarity, I finished the first chapter. I've watched every scene in the first chapter from the different characters' point of view, so I have a bit of an idea of what's going on. And, setting up the story, one person's down in the dumps, they're trying to kill themselves, the other one is a famous actress, but she's not who she seems. You know, there's all these different characters around, and some of them are kind of tropey, but it works. It works very, very well, I think. And I really like the way that the story's being told, and I like the story. So, obviously, people will be familiar with Nikola Tesla, but there's another inventor in there. It's not Albert Einstein. I can't remember who the other guy is.
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison, that's the one. So he's in the game as well. He's been invited to Nikola Tesla's house as well. All these people have been invited there. I don't know why, but I just got a memory of Minecraft Story Mode, one of the later episodes, where you all get invited to the White Pumpkin's mansion.
Yep.
Actually, and people die in that.
Yeah, it's the classic invited to a weird person's house murder mystery, like Clue. Like this, it's a classic trope, but this really turns it on its head in an interesting way.
Yeah, but it's very, very enjoyable. I think it was Matriarch in the Achievement Hunting 101 Discord tagged me in and said, you know, I hope you're actually enjoying the game as well as getting random to-do list achievements in it. Right. And I am actually. I really am enjoying the game. And I mean, for $4, it's an absolute steal. It's $40 Australian on full price. I don't think it's worth $40 Australian, but I mean, $10, $20. Oh, maybe not $20. Probably $10, $10, $15. I think is really fair. I just happened to get it for $4. Just on an absolute steal. So it'll be a game that I really enjoy. I played other games, but I mean, I didn't really play them for long enough to bother mentioning. So my Gamerscore for the week, 1,855, and I am on 15 for my random to-do list. I think given enough time, I can get 24.
Wow.
But I've got, let me tell you what I've got left.
Sure.
All right, so it's the night of the 13th of August as we record. I've got Lego Marvel Superheroes. Finished the 15th level.
Okay.
I've finished the first 3, so I play that with my wife. Cube 2. I've got to finish Chapter 7, which I'm in Chapter 6 now, so that'll probably take another hour tops. Hydrophobia. I've got to get half the medals. That's
easy.
Presumably a half to 2/3 of the way through the game. I have to finish Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker without using any hints. It's probably 4 hours.
Yeah,
or so,
if you mainline it and speedrun it and don't get any other achievements, you could do it very quickly.
Yep. So then we start to get into the hairy ones. So Walking Dead Survival Instinct, which, by the way, this game is a stinker.
Oof.
But I'm going to enjoy it for what it is. I need to get to one of the levels, kill the zombies with the saws, and I need to shoot someone in the knee with the crossbow, which I don't think you get until halfway through the game.
Yeah, about 2/3. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Then I have to Ukulele. I have to finish the World 5 boss.
Oh, okay.
Which is
yeah.
Ziggurat. I need to unlock every enemy in the bestiary, which I think I'm going to ask to re-roll that one.
I would. That's a brutal one.
I've got 11 left to unlock. I reckon 4 of them are bosses.
Yep.
So anyway, the big one is the hardest difficulty on Zombie.
Right.
Which I'm going to do the online offline trick to do that. I don't know. I don't know if I can hit 24. It's just too much time playing games, maybe.
I reckon you could do it. Like that all sounds pretty doable. I mean, the Ziggurat one's a bit rough because some of the bosses don't show up sometimes, or they can be a bit hard to get them, and you have to get to the whatever stage. But I believe in you. I reckon you could do it.
Yeah, well, this I've already told Alroy, my team captain, that this will be my last month in random to-do list. So I would like to go out with a 25 out of 25, but you know, I think 23 is definitely doable. 24, maybe. And if I get a re-roll on that Ziggurat, if I do decide to re-roll it, then hopefully get something that I can do. But yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about the sale this week. So sales and games and all this kind of good stuff. So the games with gold tick over probably the day this comes out, maybe the day after, depending on when you're listening to it. So we've got Castlevania Lords of Shadow. That's the 360 game, I believe. Yes.
Yep.
Well, it must be because the other game's 4's a 6, and I don't think that was on the 360, was it?
Xbox One, yeah.
All right. So they flip over on the 15th. So make sure you add those to your download queue, even if you don't want to get them. There are games coming into the Game Pass or have recently come in. So Vampire got a Windows 10 achievement list, and that's been added to the PC Game Pass. I'm not sure if we mentioned these last week. We might have, but Jackbox Party Pack 2 on the Xbox, Space Hulk Tactics, which is a PC game. They both have achievement lists. They have been added. And there's a game that doesn't have achievements called Water Tastes Like Wine, which seems to be a point-and-click type of...
Kind of. It's a very interesting sort of narrative game with a lot to do with music and sort of folklore and sort of like that sort of stuff around sort of the US, like sort of road trip culture. But apparently it was a little bit disappointing, but it had a really great concept. But I'm hoping that they do add some achievements to it at some stage because I would like to get the opportunity to play it.
All right. Yeah, it seemed like an interesting game when I was reading about it. Also, you put these quick points in here. What have we got?
So we've got Dying Reborn, 60% off for $7.99. Nice, easy sort of, I guess, a point and click. You just go through. Yeah, but it is basically a point and click, first person. Nothing super exciting. You follow the guide, you get all the achievements. You're done with it. Drawful 2, 50% off for $4.99. Highly recommended. Love playing that. Even if you're bad at drawing games, it's one of those sort of Jackbox Party Pack games that's just been spun off into its own list. Nice and easy. And then
yeah, I've played that one. Yeah, that's easy.
And then Doodle God Crime City, 50% off, $7.49. Really, really easy. I mean, if you played any Doodle God game, you know how it works. You just combine a bunch of elements to make stuff that doesn't make any sense, and you get some achievements for it.
That's, you know what, they should change the premise description of that game to what you just said, because that's exactly what that game is.
Yep.
I've played that one too. It is easy, definitely easy. All right, so your recommendation for this week, one that people have heard a lot about, I'm sure, but what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so Thimbleweed Park, 60% off, $7.99. It is in Game Pass if you have that. I would definitely recommend playing it. It's also a Play Anywhere title, so you can do it on PC, and thankfully, due to the graphical style, it actually runs on my PC, which is helpful. It's a sort of a love letter back to old school point and click games from the old sort of Monkey Island era, Tim Schafer sort of thing going on, where you're essentially solving a murder mystery in a sort of old dilapidated town, complete with a weird circus and a sad clown and all kinds of weird stuff. And some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. There's very, very self-referential. There's a sexy Riker from Star Trek at a convention. It's all over the place. Okay. It's one that you probably want to play through for a guide if you want the achievements, but it is also one of those ones that you kind of get a lot of enjoyment out of if you just take your time and just, examine everything, use this on this, try to see what reactions happen. And if you're a fan of those old school games, it's definitely worth looking into.
Is it better than The Park?
Yes, I would say it is. I mean, it's not as simple as The Park. But I would say that in every other aspect, it is better than The Park.
Yeah. I mean, that's a low bar I've given it there, but nice to know that it is better like I thought it was. So my recommendation this week, Lego Harry Potter 1 to 4 and 5 to 7 on sale on the Xbox 360. They're each 70% off and $5.99 each. So I've actually got 2 discs of those when we played them. It was one of the first games. At the time, she was my girlfriend. Now she's my wife. We played together. It was good because her sister and her played through the first time, and then she and I played through the second time. So it was, and she's a really big Harry Potter fan. I like Harry Potter as well. So it was a lot of fun. They're both very good games. I like the stories of Harry Potter, and that Lego kind of stereotypical Lego humor that gets spun into the games, I think works really, really well. So yeah, that's a bargain. I mean, and you get your money's worth out of them. You're playing for, what, 15, 20 hours each?
Absolutely. Got to play every level twice, so...
Yeah. I don't like that aspect.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about Lego games. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. They're easy. They just take a long time.
Yeah. One other thing, the outfit on the 360 is on like a massively, like 85% off sale for like $2. Please, someone pick that up so I can boost it with them. Like the game's not very good, but I have to play it at some stage, and I don't know if Chin owns it yet, so I should probably ask him. But failing that,
it's not a bad game actually.
It's all right.
It's not a bad game. Yeah, I've played it. I'll tell you about it later. But we also decided we were going to kind of shelve new games unless a game came out that we really wanted to talk about or that we were interested in. So both you and I, a game caught our eye this week. Why don't you tell people what this game's all about, Matt?
So this is was it Build Your Own Computer Simulator?
PC Building Simulator.
Yeah. So as someone who's built a computer, there's nothing more stimulating than building another computer, but now virtually, so I don't have to pay for any of the parts myself. It actually looks like a lot of fun, and I'll be really interested to see, because it's the kind of thing where it's like people who love trains do train simulators, people who love PCs do PC building simulators. I mean, and the achievements look like fun. There's a joke about Crysis in there about building something
that's the first thing I was going to mention too.
Yeah.
Can it run Crysis?
And just looking at that, I was thinking, well, my laptop can't run Crysis, but maybe this computer that I build on my laptop can run Crysis. Who knows?
Yeah. It's looking through the achievement list, there's references to actual things like overclocking and actual 1080 Ti graphics cards and all these different things. It seems like, at least from the achievement list and the little that I understand about computers, it seems like it's going to try and stay true to life as it can, as a game can, I suppose.
I'm just waiting for the inevitable stream that someone has them building a computer next to them building it in the sim and trying to see who can build it faster.
Actually, Roby Kenobi, maybe the guy's name is. I've seen him do streams of him building a computer, which I think is pretty cool.
There's something really interesting about it. Yeah,
it's fascinating. My computer that I'm on now, my friend built, and I remember at the time, he put some pretty good stuff into it. It's got like whatever the i5 was at the time, because I'm like, I'll never edit videos, and then I have a YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel, so didn't see that one coming. But the i5 does fine with that. But we put an SSD in to run the graphics cards. Got a sick power supply. He gave me his old 750 Ti or whatever it's called, an NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Apparently it was a sick at the time. So I'm pretty confident my PC actually can run Crysis, and at reasonable settings, which I don't know if that's not really a brag in 2019, but
yeah. When did Crysis come out again?
I think it was like 2012. I don't know, but I always enjoy Crysis references, and I think Crysis 2 has a Crysis 1 reference in it.
Yeah,
I think there's an achievement called "Can it run Crysis?"
And it has a picture of a computer smoking. I think it's the first achievement you get.
It is the first achievement you get.
Yeah. Oh, the original Crysis came out 2007.
Oh wow, was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, that's a long time ago. Wow. All right. So, I guess, do you think you'll get this game? Do you think you get the PC building simulator?
I might do, actually. It looks like fun. I don't know if I want to make sure it's completable and have a look at the achievements first before I dive straight into it. But I might pick it up for a laugh.
There are some doozies. There are some doozies in there. Like make, was it $10 million building PCs or something like that? $1 million. You're just like, come on, that's a lot of PCs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's our chat on the new games. I skipped over potential purchases as well. I'm not buying anything in this sale this week. Is there anything on your radar?
No, not really. I think I own everything that I want.
Oh, Chin Doctor is here. I didn't even realise. Okay. With Chin not here as well, we don't have much intel on the way of knobs and discos, so Might save those up for next week if we've got them. But we have got some milestones just before we close the show out. So I'm just going to quickly move these around so you can read some and I can read some. Do you want to take the top ones? I'll take the bottom ones.
So we have Secular Forever, once again in the leaderboards, with 29,000 achievements won. Jimbot UK has reached a new milestone of 1.2 million TA score. Hat 90, contest winner, has reached 100,000 TA score. Enigma Gamer 77 has beaten all other 76 of them to get to 250-day achievement win streak. What the Fug is currently on a 2,500 achievement win streak, which is very, very impressive.
So we got Daniel JJ14 as well, has 2 milestones of 18,000 achievements won and 550,000 gamer score. We've also got AZ Mongoose, who has crossed the line at 100,000 gamer score as well. So I know we always talk about the big milestones in here, but your first 100,000, I think, is something really, really special. It's probably the same, you would say, as a million gamer score. I mean,
almost exactly the same.
The feeling, you know what I mean? Like, you cross that line to you're like, oh, I'm triple figures, man. I'm big time.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you get into 4 figures and you're just like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So 4 figures before the last 3 zeros, okay? Just in case anyone goes, oh, a million doesn't have 4 figures in it. Yes, I know. All right. Speaking of a million gamer score, you've got a new friend in the 1 million gamer score club this week, Neo. Did you know you had a million gamer score?
I had heard. Someone did tell me.
Heard a rumor.
I had a rumor, yeah.
Yeah. So, Sasha Morning. So, most people, I think, would know of Sasha Morning. Sasha, for those that don't know, Sasha is a guy. Sasha is a man.
Yep.
I think it might have been the Achievement Hunting 101 Discord. Someone said, wait, Sasha's a guy. I think they were joking, but I'm not really sure. But Sasha is on True Achievements a lot. They have involvement there with guides and walkthroughs and all sorts of things. Really good bloke, actually, as well. But I think, I could be wrong about this, but Sasha Morning used to run the random to-do list before Tarragon took it over.
Oh.
I could be wrong about that, but my point is that Sasha has been around for a long time. So to cross the line to 1 million gamer score, that's a great milestone. So you just got to catch up to Neo now.
Oh,
that's all.
I don't need more competition.
How many people are in the Million Gamer Score Club?
Well, it's got to be probably about over 30 people. Probably getting close.
I remember last time I heard it was about 30 people. So
yeah, getting pretty close to that. Actually, I'll just look it up right now.
Yep. All right. Well,
While
you have a look at that, so we'll start closing out the show there as well. So if you wanted to get in touch with us by email, the email address is hello@realgamerscore.com. You can find us on Twitter at realgamerscore, discord.io/realgamerscore. That's where you can find an invite into our Discord, and you can join us as a patron over at patreon.com/realgamerscore. You can write in questions to the show. We'll answer them in the next episode. And if you're interested in being on the show as a guest, get in touch with me, preferably on Discord. What did you find out about the Million Gamer Score Club?
It's be roughly 88. So Sasha's on here, but still shows it under a million, but the leaderboard probably just hasn't updated yet. So I would say at least 88 to 90 people are in that club so far.
Really?
Yep. It's really taken off.
That many? Damn. Well, Radalika.
Yeah, exactly. Makes it easy these days. Not that I want to get I don't want to get into that rant, but
sometimes you
kids these days,
they don't know how bad we had it back on the 360 Waves walking stick. Okay. There was something I was going to mention, and it's just slipped my mind. So we'll continue on. it probably won't come back to me in the next 2 minutes while we close this out. So you can find out ways to help us. You can subscribe on iTunes and other podcast platforms. You can leave us a review, tell your friends about us, retweet us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube and on Patreon if you desire. The thing that I was going to mention actually came back to me. Wow, good job, Rain. So the survey that we put up is still up. I know we said we were going to share a link on the Twitter, and we didn't, but we are going to do that tomorrow, I think, right as this episode comes out. And we're going to put a reminder into Discord. So if you did have a spare 2 or 3 minutes to fill out the survey and have your say about how we proceed in the future. So Matt, what were you going to say? Sorry,
I was going to say just make sure when you take the survey that you mark me as your favorite guest because I'm now on the show, so now you're stuck with me.
Fair enough. If someone wanted to get in touch with you and say, "Hey, you're my new favorite host," where would they do that?
Well, I think Ghost World already got in touch with me, but
oh god, really? Damn.
He's a cool dude.
I know he's good.
If you want to get in touch with me, hit me up on True Achievements. Neomaster is my gamer tag. Otherwise, I'll be on the Discord as Neomaster. I'm on there all day, every day, because that's what I do with my time when I'm not gaming, is annoying people about video gaming.
Are you able to get on Discord while you're at work?
I mean, I have my phone next to me. I mean, okay. I work in tech, so I can usually get away with a fair amount. However, my boss, if you're listening to this, I work all the time and I work really hard.
All right, and if you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on Discord. You can find me on Twitter, True Achievements, Xbox, and Mixer. You can find me as Professor Pluto. That's all one word. And you can find me on Twitch, ProfessorPluto1. All right, well, there you go. Episode 54. Done and dusted. We will see you in the next episode. See you later, everyone.
Cheers.